When people started to approach me and talk about it, it was something I started to consider only because of the toxicity which was brought into our caucus.
Well, the fight over the Speaker's gavel on the Assembly floor in Sacramento has seemingly been on mute for the last few weeks, ever since my conversation with Valley Assemblyman Dr. Joaquin Arambula, who is openly challenging Assemblyman Robert Rivas, who had been verbally appointed to take over speakership in June after Anthony Rendon terms out. More on this and the governor's plan for his second term. Longtime Democratic strategist, political consultant, who also served on the Clinton administration and was press secretary for former Governor Gray Davis, Stephen Moviglio, joins us in Sacramento. Welcome back to Sunday Morning Matters. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks.
You know, you've been indirectly involved in the Assembly Speaker controversy that has been going over for the last few months now. You are actually consulting the Assemblyman Robert Rivas. So what's the skinny here now? Where do we stand? Who will actually be the next Speaker of the Assembly? Or is there still division among the caucus members?
Well, you know, that game is over. That fat lady has sung. Rivas got the votes twice now from his caucus, unanimously, in fact. There's been some delusions of grandeur by a couple individuals who have not been able to muster a single vote besides themselves. So as far as the people in Sacramento and the members of the Assembly are concerned, the next Speaker will be Robert Rivas, and he'll start in July.
So Assemblyman Dr. Joaquin Arambula came on this show. You know that. He clearly said that several of his colleagues came to him and to challenge Rivas for speakership. Are you refuting any of that happened?
No, I'm sure somebody did, but, you know, he refused to give those names out. There's been not a piece of evidence that had any kind of momentum. He's refused to name any of those people that came to him, probably because they were fear of having their name there to such an embarrassing effort. But, you know, it's a game over for this. And I think the Assembly has moved on and Democrats have moved on to their next Speaker.
So just to be clear, Robert Rivas has the majority of his colleagues to officially become the next Assembly Speaker as Anthony Rendon once again terms out.
Not only does he have the votes, he had the votes. It's been voted on. It's been a resolution, the same kind of resolution that was approved for Mr. Rendon to be Speaker. There's no doubt that the next Speaker will be Mr. Rivas.
All right, I want to get to Governor Newsom's State of the State tour. It was a new approach, many lawmakers applauding it, but lawmakers in the Central Valley not too happy about it. They were left out. Should the governor have made a stop in the Central Valley on this four-city tour? Should he added maybe a fifth city in the Central Valley?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's such a huge part of the state, going through some very tough times now with the water situation and economic situation. I don't see how he could fly over the central part of the state, given all the concerns there. He was delivering good news. That's what this publicity tour was all about. It was sort of like the Oprah show. He was giving out, you know, millions and billions for this cause and that cause and this program and that program. And now he wants us to vote on something in 2024 to put the state further in debt by building more mental health facilities, a very worthy cause, but there's no reason that a huge chunk of the state was left out for that.
So you've been a press secretary, you've worked on the Clinton administration, you're a political consultant. You're saying Governor Newsom made a bad move here?
I do. I think he made a bad move not making that State of the State speech, and what traditionally governors make the speech and then they do a follow-up tour afterward. You know, there's two audiences for that speech. It's the people of the state of California, but it's also the members of the legislature. This is where he has to engage them and sets out his priorities. He picked up a handful of legislators in the different markets that he went to, but he didn't address the legislature as a whole, and I think that was a mistake.
You know, Governor Newsom has, I guess I say, redefined his battle against big oil. It is now moving on. The state Senate approving it, obviously, on Thursday. So now he moves forward with this, and now it heads to the Assembly and appropriations. Battling big oil here, knowing what it's costing us at the pump right now. Is this good strategy, or is this political suicide?
It's good strategy to take on oil companies. They're very unpopular, right up there with used car salesmen and insurance companies. But, you know, you have to look at what happened. He declared he wanted to have a special session. He wanted to have a major tax, and it's been watered down so much, it's essentially turning over the regulatory authority authority to bureaucrats at the California Energy Commission. He did not engage the legislature like he did. He didn't have a proposal on paper when he announced it. So it's just a shadow of what it used to be or what it should have been. So he'll get the political points for this. What it actually will do for consumers, that remains to be seen.
You know, I'm going to ask you a wild question now because you're all about polling, you're all about strategy and all that stuff. So I had to ask this wild question because there's like murmurs going around, not only at the state capitol, but all the way down here to the Central Valley. Any chance Governor Newsom runs for U.S. Senate, which would be Dianne Feinstein's seat?
Well, you never say never, right? And she's got a ways to go before her term ends. It's conceivable if something had happened to her, he could appoint himself to that job. But we have 3 strong Democratic candidates who are out there raising money and have millions in the bank already. Gavin Newsom is not the kind of guy who wants to be one of 100. He's an executive level operator. I don't see it happening, but I've seen stranger things in politics.
All right, so does that mean the run for president is still being tabled?
I think he goes to bed every night thinking that might happen, and who knows, it might. But right now, his future doesn't look too bright in terms of where he can go to climb the ladder because all those last few steps have been closed off to him.
All right, Stephen Moviglio, appreciate your time here on Sunday Morning Matters. We'll see you down the road as things get a little closer to 2024. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.